Welcome to the Clown Brother Show, episode 8. I'm so excited that we will be doing the Squid Games again. I'm excited as can be, but I am so interested to see what happens with all the characters that we've been following so far. And it's so great to be back, How are you doing, Skullo?
Well, I'm doing a lot better after watching what we did Batman Forever, because now we're going back into one of my favorite shows, the Squid Games, episode 3, of the first season. It will be so exciting to see where all the characters go, and obviously what games they play next. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm just so excited that you're in high spirits now. Now let's get on into the synopsis of Squid Games Season 1, Episode 3. I'm just excited to be telling you that now we're going to go back to the storyline. After all the characters have decided that they don't want to go back into the games, we follow the detective who has been following the van that carries our main character, and he's following them, and he ends up following a caravan of them, and they're going onto this boat. And he's like wondering what to do, and he texts his chief and is like, well, I won't be into work tomorrow, okay? So then he goes and he actually hooks himself under the car, and he takes his police pistol with him, and he goes into the boat. And as the boat's going, he's under the carriage of one of the vehicles, and then the door opens, but the people stay in the cars. He puts himself in the van. So then he puts himself in the van, to act like one of the knocked out people.
Right, and then once he acts like one of the knocked out people, the people up top, the ones in charge of this, give the order to all the people to start scanning the people. So they start scanning them, and that's just when you find out that these people have actually put like chips or something in the heads of all these people so that their numbers are known, so that they can easily decipher who is who and which player is which player and whatnot. So they start scanning them, and even our main character comes up, for number 456. And then when the guy in that vehicle starts trying to scan the detective, it doesn't work, and he thinks there's something wrong. And they get into this big fight. This fight where the detective actually knocks out this guy in the suit, and then he takes his suit on and he puts it on and he throws the guy into the ocean with his ID, and then he acts like he's one of them. And this is where you start learning about the background, what's going on in the background with all these people.
Why, yes. And then after that, then we go to the facilities where they actually have everybody knocked out. And basically what they do is they take off everybody's clothes and put them in like bags, and they put the new numbers, whatever number they are, clothes on and whatnot. Well, the girl, she's awake during this whole experience. So what she does is that she actually slides her knife into one of the people's pockets and then takes the knife out for future use, since she was awake. But one thing I kind of was wondering, is you think that they would definitely check, maybe give them another gassing before they would do this, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it was a high dosage and they just didn't check it. What do you think, Skullo?
Yeah, Reddo, I thought that was very weird. I personally would double dose them to make sure that they're all knocked out while they come to play this game. But then we have the scene where we go to the old man at number 456. Our main character starts talking to him, and they have an interaction, and then that's when his friend comes up, and then that's when the strong men are all there, and they're all there together, and they decide that they want to team up because they have no idea what the next game will be. So they're all coming together to see what's going on,
Skullo was right, so our main cast characters, they decide that they all want to come together and work together as kind of like a team because they don't know what games we'll be playing next, and I think it will be very interesting to see where all of this goes. But then we also cut to the girl, and she's being propositioned by the criminal to join his team, but she's like, nah, you're a loser, obviously. And then this new character shows up, and she was one of the ones that was begging and pleading for her life, number 212 and whatnot, and she wants to join the team, and she can do very special things that I don't know much about. But moving on from that, then we go to the front man, and then we learn that only a specific number of the people have returned,
Yeah, this is where we learn that only 187 people have returned out of the 201 that decided to leave. So the front man tells his man, you need to keep a watch on these people. Make sure, just keep watching them, because they obviously have a bunch of money and resources to be doing all of this, obviously. But then we cut back to the main cast of characters as they eat their lunch and whatnot, and they're talking about all the different games that there's possibly that they could play. And there's actually a lot of different kids games out there. A lot of them I didn't know because I guess they're Korean kids games. I'm just saying, because I'm not adverse to the whole South Korean culture or anything like that, but I don't know.
True, but at least they are willing to teach Ali, I believe that's the name of the strongman. I'm finally remembering these people's names after, however many episodes. On the third episode, I'm finally remembering some names, So Ali is like, I don't know any of these games, but they're like, we'll teach them to you and help you learn so that we all can, move on in the game. And then we cut back to the detective, because he's in there and he's dressed up like one of the people in the jumpsuits. And he happens to have the circle logo on his mask.
Right, and that is when we learn that there are like 3 rules also for all the people that are working in the facility that are working together. And he actually ends up being number 29. So the guy that he stole his identity to, and for some reason number 28 was staring at him when he went to his like sleeping quarters room. And the 3 rules actually are for the games, what are they? Give me a second. I have to like read this with subtitles for crying out loud. I had to get it like a couple times. So the rule number 1 is always wear a mask when you're outside the room. And I believe that the rule number 2 is do not converse without permission, because only certain people are allowed to talk to each other. Like a commanding officer is only allowed to talk to the underlings when they're told to, obviously. And then I believe the final room is don't leave your room without permission. So the rules basically are you gotta keep your mask on to keep yourself protected. Do not converse with anybody without like one of the overseers, and the overseers happen to be wearing the square masks. And then don't go outside the room anywhere without anybody higher up's permission, obviously.
Well, those are some weird rules with all these minion people, but it's getting very interesting to see where all this is going and whatnot. But then we cut back to the sleeping quarters where everybody just sleeps except for one woman, 212. I guess she really has to go to the bathroom because she's yelling and carrying on at the minion people, one of the triangle ones, because it seems like the triangle ones actually are the ones that are armed along with the main peoples, the square ones. So it seems like in the hierarchy, the circles are just like the drone minions that walk around and do whatever they're told. The triangles are the armed forces, the protection and the executioners, and then the square ones are actually the ones that are in charge of the operation. So, that's what it is. But then 212's freaking out because she has to go to the bathroom,
Right, so now we're getting into number 212. That, what I refer to as that you just can't handle because she's yelling and carrying on while people are trying to sleep, for crying out loud. I would have already throttled her before she would even have to go to the damn bathroom, for crying out loud. Ugh, she just makes my blood boil, for crying out loud. But she causes a big scene, so then the guy's just like, okay, fine, I'll take you to the damn bathroom. Obviously. But then the girl that we've been following, she comes in there and she's like, I need to go to the bathroom too, right? So then they go to the bathroom, and this is where we learn that the one woman in her private part, she's hiding cigarettes. But the girl then uses her knife to open up the vent and go into the vents to see what's going on.
Okay, Skullo, just calm it down a little bit, breathing exercises like we talked about. But moving on back to the storyline. So the girl's up there, she's going, and then she finds this place where they're like melting, like I believe that she says sugar. So the melting sugar, for some reason, maybe for the next game, I don't know. Well, the 212 woman is making this big scene about going to the bathroom for some reason, just to buy the girl more time, really overdoing it. I mean, she is very annoying, I do have to say.
Right, very annoying, So then after that, the girl finds out about the sugar, then she goes back and down there, and then the guy with the gun's like, you gotta keep moving, and then, she's like, I'm gonna sue you after this, the 212. But then, we cut back to then they're in the main room, and for some reason, this woman is loudly telling that she knows information, so that the friend character actually overhears her, and then realizes that there's something going on there.
Right, and then we actually cut back to the detective while he's in the room, and they turned the lights off for his sleeping time, and he actually kept his phone with him, but he obviously has no signal because they are on an island, obviously, and he actually starts writing notes about what's going on, about like how there's surveillance and they have high security and all this kind of information to learn what's actually going on here, and he's being a drone,
Right, the detective was being a drone, but then we cut to the morning where the girl actually tells the 212 woman, because, I could probably stop using that one word, but moving on, she said that there was sugar that she kind of smelled, that they were melting. She kind of figured that out over time, and then you learn that not only did these people give them like lunch, but they're also giving them breakfast. I mean, really, you have people captive to play games for money, and you're still giving them food and whatnot? I mean, if I was in charge of all of this, that would not be going down, obviously.
Well, Skullo, you're obviously an uncaring psychopath, but moving on from that, then, we cut back to the detective, and he gets dressed, and they only have 10 minutes to get dressed and get back to work, and then the number 28 still looking at him and whatnot, and they have a security check and everything, and they start going on their ways, and then we also have a scene with the main character when he gets up to get his breakfast. He gets some pastry thing and then milk, but I guess he can't drink milk, so he's all upset about that because he usually gets chocolate milk or whatever. I mean, just these people are giving you food for crying out loud, and you sign basically your bodily rights away when you sign the original waiver. But moving on from that, we have the friend character gives his food to the Ali strongman character, and so does the main character, the milk, as they get prepared for the next game. Dun dun dun.
Did you really call me a psychopath? I mean, oh my goodness, fine, I'll just move on. Well, we go to the detective, and he's with a group of people. They're all going to the next game room, I guess. And then we also cut back to the girl, because the friend character goes up to her and asks her, what did you find last night? Because I overheard you all talking and whatnot, and she says the whole sugar thing. And then we go to the main room where they're in this huge playground area. This very weird, over childish, whoever has this place is a thing for their own childhood or something. I mean, I don't know why everything is kids based. I mean, in reality, if I was to put something together like this, it would be more of a Saul-esque thing, not this whole weird kid thing, fetish, whatever. But moving on.
Well, then we're told the rules of the game that are being ruining. I mean, I have to grab my good gorilla now because I'm not ready for any of this. I'm not ready to have another childhood game ruined. But then they're told that they must pick one of the shapes. Now, there are 4 shapes up there. They have a circle, a triangle, a star, and an umbrella. And these are the 4 shapes that they have. And they are told they must make a line and all choose which shape they want to be in front of. Now, they don't know what game it is, but the smart guy, the friend character, he figures out something from his childhood, where at the playground, this guy would melt some sugar and then make these things and make shapes out of them. So he's trying to remember what this is going to be. So then the main cast, which was the four main people we were following right here, they all agree that they want to take separate ones. So Ollie then decides that he wants to go for a circle. The smart guy, the friend character, he wants to go for a triangle. And then the main character decides that he wants to go for an umbrella, which leaves this star for the old man. Now, when he chooses the umbrella, the friend character is like, do you really want to do that? Is that something that you really want to do? And he's like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, I would always lose my umbrellas, so my mother always gave me bad umbrellas. All that happy and fun stuff.
Right, proving that the main character is a loser. But after that, they all get lined up. So once they're in front of the thing, the doors open, and then the nice lady up on the speakers, tells them all they must take the cylinder. So then one guy keeps handing them all cylinders out until everybody has a cylinder, right? Well, then once they all have cylinders, they tell them to open up, and the game is this. So basically, they're all given inside the cylinder a honeycomb thing that has a shape in it. And the goal is to take the shape perfectly out of the honeycomb thing without the shape breaking. Because if it breaks, you will get a bullet to the head. Now, that was not as good as the original one with the big robot thing, or as spectacular. But then we get to that, and also they only have a 10-minute time limit.
Oh my goodness, it's only a 10-minute time limit, oh my goodness, and then all of our characters and the main character, you've got an umbrella, which is such a difficult shape because of all the curves and stuff, and the honeycombs and a circular honeycomb. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. But then as the game goes on, the first person breaks it and he bam, shot dead. I couldn't handle it. Oh my goodness, the brutality in it. Oh my goodness. And then more people started losing it, and their honeycombs started breaking, and more bodies were dropping, and I can't handle it.
Oh my goodness, Reddo, just pull yourself together, for crying out loud. Alrighty then, so I forgot this major point that I need to bring up. There was a guy with glasses. I believe his number is 111. And he was given a note in his breakfast about the next game, meaning that he was given a little bit of an advantage note shape to go for. So he went for the triangle, because obviously the easiest shape to do for this kind of a game will be a triangle, because with the honeycomb you're given a needle, and you need to basically lick the needle and then basically break apart the honeycomb so that you can get the shape out. But there's a lot of them that are hard to do, obviously. But then we go to the other characters. Number 212, I refer to as the gets a star because she went with the criminal who also got a star, meaning those two people have stars. And then the main girl we following, she followed the smart guy, so she got a triangle to deal with her games. You know.
I mean, oh my goodness, I can't take this. So, like, they're all meticulously working on it, and they each have their own strategies, you know. Ollie, he's just breaking it into pieces, while the smart man is just, like, you know, doing it because he just has a triangle, and the main character, he's breaking it apart, like, you know, the top portion of the umbrella, the circular portion, oh my goodness. And then the old man, he's shaking the whole time. I mean, I can't take it. Oh my goodness, these people are gonna die horribly.
Oh my goodness, man. Okay, I'll just take this over right now. Just sit there. I don't care. But then we learned that the 212, she's using her lighter, because she had a lighter with cigarettes. I forgot about that point. She's using a lighter to melt it herself instead of, you know, so she's basically cheating to get this done. But then we go through it, and then the first character that we've been seeing to get it done is the guy with the glasses who was given the note. He's the first one to get his shape done. And then we see Ollie get his shape done after he breaks it, and he has a perfect circle, you know. And then after that, number 111 is actually directed to a side corridor by one of the triangle people. For some reason, we still don't know why, because that storyline does not end in this episode. But then we also got to the fact that the detective who's in the disguise actually starts moving, and then his supervisor comes up to him and is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I got flustered or whatever." And he's like, "Our job is only to take away the eliminated bodies. I will have a conversation with you after this game for your conduct," because obviously they're just supposed to watch the game, not do anything about what's going on in the game, you know.
Well, I've composed myself. I've come back. Well, then his friend actually makes it out, and then it's just down to him and the old man. And then the woman that's been cheating, 212, she shows it off to the people, and she, quote unquote, gets out of this round of the game. And then she actually gives a lighter to the criminal because they start to have this weird attraction thing. I mean, oh my goodness, I can't take it. And then the main character, he starts to sweat because of all the intensity, and it lands on the honeycomb. And then that's when he realizes that he can just start licking it and start taking out the honeycombs, you know, foundation. I mean, oh my goodness, there's only 3 minutes and counting. Oh my goodness.
Right, and all that is going on. People are still dropping and whatnot. You know, my favorite part. But I mean, Reddo, calm down. Do we need to pause this? Do we need to have a technical difficulty situation like happened to me last time? Because you can't obviously handle this.
No, Skullo, I can't. I'll get through this. Well, then the main character, he's licking the honeycomb away to try to get his shape out. And then everybody else starts seeing this, and they all start licking their shapes, hoping that they can make their way out of this. I mean, oh my goodness. Even the old man's doing it, and they're doing it, and it counts down. It's coming down to the final minutes. I mean, I can't handle it. So it's coming down to the final minutes. And oh my goodness. And then the old man makes it. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then the main character just final seconds. He actually gets it. Oh my goodness. He made it. Oh, they made it. All the main supporting cast. Oh, I can't take it. It's so good. Oh,
okay. Well, alrighty then. Well, then we go back to the storyline where basically they survive and whatnot and pass to this level of the game. But then one of the guys who's about to be executed because he failed, his umbrella broke. He stabs one of the people, the gun guys, in the eye with a needle, and then he takes the main person in charge hostage, and he's like, "This is unfair. How are we supposed to know what shape to take or whatnot? And how some people got easy shapes and other people got hard shapes? This is just totally unfair." Well, then there's like 10 or 20 of the triangle people guys, and there's a bunch of people in the room that didn't complete the shape in time, and then they're all executed, and it leaves only this one guy with this kid, and he tells the kid to take off. He tells the guy to take off his mask, and that's when you find out that it's just a kid who works for this organization, and then the guy shoots his own brains out. Well, all this going on, the front man comes down there, and he shoots the kid and unveils himself, and he's like, "If you unmask, once they know who you are, you must die." Obviously.
Well, then the detective who's in disguise actually sees an opportunity, and he takes the square mask, and that's how our episode ends. I mean, oh my goodness, this was horrifying, and at least it didn't ruin like a child's game that I know of. But I mean, if you're Korean, that might have ruined your childhood game. But I'm just glad that this was over. I mean, I was pulling my hair out in the final sequence because I didn't know if our character was gonna live or die. I mean, I just couldn't handle it. Oh my goodness.
Well, obviously, I saw the episode count and realized that they weren't going to kill any of the main characters off. I'm just glad a bunch more people died, you know. And I wish that it was more like eccentric, you know, where it was like more like the first one, where it was all surprises and whatnot. But here it's just like guys with guns just pulling them out. Bam, dead. Bam, dead. Bam, dead. Bam, dead. After they break their shape or they didn't do it and they got it assault rifled and whatever else, you know. But moving on from that, I thought this was a pretty good episode of the Squid Games, you know.
Well, I like that there wasn't that much violence, you know, until like the end within the game itself, you know, that it was basically just a lot of learning about what goes on behind the scenes, you know. So it actually was a pretty good episode of the show, and I got to, you know, care more about, you know, the Ali character because he just seems like he's a nice man and whatnot, and, you know, the old man is there sometimes and not there others, so, you know, it is what it is. But I thought it was a pretty good episode, you know.
I agree, I really enjoyed this episode, but I enjoy all of the Squid Games, and I'm just so excited to be continuing this, you know, going deeper into the story arc, especially now that we have the detective actually in the background doing his things and learning what this number 111 is doing, obviously, because he's getting, you know, advanced knowledge about the games and whatnot. So I'm very interested to figure out where we're going with this, and since we're to the end, if you do not support us, I will see you in your nightmares.
Well, okay, I will just, you know, end us off on this. You know, if you liked this video and any of our past content, you can like, subscribe, turn on notifications, maybe leave a comment or something, you know, help us out, you know. And if you enjoy this content and want more, obviously hit the like button so that you can show that you enjoy what we're doing here. And I'm just excited that we got another episode in. You know, episode 8, oh my goodness, we're so close to 10. I mean, well, I wonder what's gonna happen there. Alrighty, you all have a nice day. Goodbye.
Okay, Reddo, you need to, calm it down a little bit. In this episode, you were very freaking out when all the characters were dying. I mean, don't you need to have a little bit of professionalism? You know what I mean?
Really, Skullo, after your last, time we were here, you broke the camera, for crying out loud. You know how much money I had to shell out to buy a new camera because you lost your mind, because you couldn't handle all the relationship crap in Batman Forever? I mean, really? You're judging me for how I'm acting? At least I didn't, cause a technical difficulty situation.
Oh, really? Really? You're saying that everything is my fault, that the camera situation was my fault? I don't know how that happened. Nobody saw what happened with that, so you can't say anything about that. Really? You're making this personal, Reddo? Oh my goodness, I can't take this. Screw you, man. Screw you.
Wow, you really called me the 5-year-old when you're the one acting like a 5-year-old? You're the one who's walking away now, you know, like a little child who can't understand when a parent tells them no.
Oh, really? You think that I'm a child? Fine, then. I'm just gone. I'm gonna go spend all my money where I usually spend my money, and you can have a nice day. Bye.
Well, okay then. Well, don't ask me for a ride when you end up wherever you end up and you're passed out. You can't get back here, alright? Just get out of here. Gosh. Well, I guess I'll just go deal with the camera and everything else.